glory. It's do or die time, and they go back to old comforts. Orianna for Froggen, by far his most played champion. His 6th game, second place has 2. This is what he plays, and it's gonna pick one with it here.
I would have been flabbergasted if Froggen was going towards the Nautilus. It just doesn't strike me as a Froggen kind of champion. But the Orianna gonna make sense, especially alongside that Olaf. People love that combo. Speed him up, shield him up, get him in the middle of the team, look for that shockwave. Also good follow-up available off of the lockdown that a Nautilus does provide. But as you did highlight, this is the same bot lane we actually saw previously from CLG, but Aphelios and Nautilus are not the champions that can really dominate. It's actually fairly hard for Nautilus to actually engage into a Tahm Kench, because if you hook the Ezreal, he can get devoured up. If you actually hook on a Tahm Kench can often just start fighting you and then threaten you with the devour offensively. So is going to be likely more of a farm style lane, and I do think a lot of the game is going to be decided on whether or not Pantheon can make things happen, especially around this mid lane, because Syndra, it feels like, is the lane you want to fight around, and that does leave them with fairly limited options.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to watch for, because I agree, like there's difficulties here, and you've got to overcome them, obviously. And I'm looking at Dignitas, and I'm looking at just difficulties. In the back half of the split, they have played 7 games, they've played 7 teams, and the only one they have beat CLG. It's been a 1-6 run so far, and they've got to win 2 straight suddenly, out of nowhere, against teams above them in the standings. They've got to do it. Liquid's hoping they can do it here right now. Golden Guardians hoping they can do it here right now to give the chance at an open spot at a playoffs, but you know, the odds are getting lower. The odds are getting lower, but we'll see if they can do it, or if Immortals can lock a spot in playoffs with the win. Not to sweat so much tomorrow. With that, though, we're going to take a 5-minute break. Hello and welcome back to the show. It's LCS time, and that's always exciting, of course. Now, we started the day with over 1,000 playoff scenarios possible. We're down to just 64 right now, and all of them end with Immortals making playoffs and none of the teams below them making it in if Immortals wins this one here today. We'll see if it comes through, but we do have Summoner's Rift ready to go as well. Let's get into it as Immortals fights for that last playoff spot opposite Dignitas, who's hoping to do the same.
Gonna be an exciting one. We're gonna have to see, can Dignitas keep the playoff hopes alive for not only themselves, but Golden Guardians, for TL. All of these teams now cheering for Dignitas, and Immortals really looking to close the door and seal the deal here, become that final playoff team. And then tomorrow would just be all about playing for seeding, which is still going to be incredibly important when you are looking for that top 4 to be playing from the upper bracket, to be playing for double limb. Very, very important, and no one has any sort of dominating lead except for Cloud9.
Also, want to point out that there is exactly 1 scenario left with 6 tiebreaker games, and if you want that, you are also rooting for Dignitas here in this one. Just saying, that's what would be on the table here, as we've still got a bunch of different scenarios available for mass tiebreakers. The question is, can Dignitas stop a 1-6 second round robin streak where they only beat 10th place CLG? Can it be the time they buck the trend? It's been a really lackluster end. They brought in a new jungler in Akaadian. That didn't seem to help very much either, but they're going to do their very best, see if they can knock down Immortals, who themselves don't have the best early game, so maybe it is one thing they can strike.
Possible. Dignitas did have a really good start to the split. I recall they were 4-2 early on. Froggen won player of the week. He was popping off. It seemed like this was going to be a roster that could do some big things, but it just has not been able to remain consistent. And it felt like what was an early season advantage for Dignitas, whether it was in preparation or practice or whatever, has kind of tailed off the further into the season we got. That advantage has dwindled away.
Yep. But there's still a chance to save everything. The odds of getting a playoffs, though they might be slim, you can still do it and turn the whole thing around. A little bit of early bot lane aggression came through from a nice hook from Aphromoo. Huni has the initial push just barely up in top lane. You've got an Olaf jungle. Like, you should definitively be a bit faster on the clears. Aphro's going to be just outside of turret range. I'm a little bit surprised it didn't acquire him in time, but able to walk away from that one, not take damage, just barely outside that ring, I guess. And the push can continue, so I would like to see, if Dignitas to win this game, I would like to see early aggression work out well.
Knew their limits very well there. As you say, Aphro just outside of that turret range. And Xmithie now on the invade. Olaf often gets very low, but Xmithie was spotted, so Akaadian can just back it up and won't be able to catch him. Xmithie there was really hoping that Akaadian wouldn't have actually popped his potions and would be clearing at low health. And in that case, there is potential to just burst him down and kill him off, but with both potions now used, his smite for the heal there, Akaadian is full health, and that shouldn't be a fight that Xmithie can really win.
Doesn't manage to steal the small chicken either, so it's going to be right now a full 2-camp lead, though to mention Xmithie did take Krugs as well, so a lot of golden XP, of course, in that camp, but still a 2-camp lead, as he's got to get back to his side of the map to get something else done, as Akaadian is power farming, plenty of XP. Next camp is 4, looks like they're going to square off and go scuttle for scuttle.
And we'll be able to trade that up. And for now, it is actually Ornn pushing up on that top side. You know, you can, if you're actually just constantly landing those Qs, get a decent bit of poke down onto the Mordekaiser, be able to have some sort of pressure in those early levels. This is also helped by the fact that Xmithie had showed top side, but as Mordekaiser scales up, as you get going further and further into the game, it becomes very, very difficult for Ornn to actually withstand the pressure in that 1v1.
Yeah, especially as those items stack up, as you're mentioning. So we'll see if that ends up bearing some fruit here. Early items have come through, though. sOAZ crafting away. He's got boots. He's got the extra regen there as well. So far, he's just fine. He's got even temporarily the push in the lane. So sOAZ feeling comfy enough and bops him once and walks back away. They're just going to keep the farm going. Still keeping that almost 3-camp lead for the Olaf, though.
Yeah, and Huni actually missed a lot of the farm because there's way more CS for sOAZ to pick up. And he's still up 5, almost a full wave right now. Huni also actually missed the last cannon, so we'll be fairly significantly down in gold off of this early push.
Yeah, and now getting knocked up here as well. That yes, there is a wave hitting sOAZ, but again, winning the trades. You can see there's like 6 CS to pick up, and he's already up 7. So that is Huni bleeding a lot of gold. And he's going to eventually take the recon, not just yet, though, as the mid laners fight back and forth for some farm. Eika playing pretty comfortably, equally to Froggen in the very early game. 6 camps so far for Xmithie to the 8 of Akaadian as the jungles have respawned. Second set of Krugs already taken there by the Pantheon, not done there by the Olaf. So again, the CS lead can somewhat lie to you because there are more efficient camps out there.
Yep, down on that bottom side, Apollo already recalled for his tier. He TP'd back, so Dignitas have been doing a pretty good job pressuring this bottom lane. We'll see if they can actually manage to fully shove this out and get their own reset off. They would like to get a buy, I think, and try to continue locking this Ezreal under his turret, as they have been winning a lot of the early trades, but it hasn't resulted in too much of a CS advantage, as Apollo still has a fair bit of minions here to pick up.
He ultimately just had a fairly close early game. Nice ult comes out from Froggen, though, getting decent damage to Eika, who's going to answer back with an ult of his own. 5 orbs land, and that's going to be low health bars on both sides. Froggen with a very early null magic mantle to make that matchup a little bit nicer for him, as different items had come through on the other side there, as they're just kind of stacking up their early stats. Junglers squaring off across the wall from each other. Akaadian would like to, yet again, maybe fight this Drake. Keep in mind, though, Johnsun is low on stats. Hasn't been able to make his own recall and doesn't have TP, so anytime he does go back for new health and more items, it's going to be about a wave lost.
He will be heading back now, though, and it does seem like he had pretty decent recall timing. I'm not sure if that was a cannon wave. If it is, he really shouldn't be losing too much, and with Olaf and Nautilus there, they could pick up some of the wave if it was going to crash. Yeah. Aphro, though, checking in on this dragon, making sure that Xmithie was not going to be starting it up, and he will not be able to, but it will be that full wave lost.
Yeah, that was non-cannon wave. I believe the one that he's riding in right now is the cannon, which means it's actually the ideal recall for Apollo, as basically to kind of sum up, right, is you want to recall when a cannon wave is reinforcing what you're leaving, because cannon just sort of takes aggro from the turret, so you lose 1 melee minion, because that's going to walk in melee range, and then it's going to switch to the cannon. And as long as your recall isn't completely horrible, you'll be back in lane before the cannon minion dies. And so your recall plus the slow walk only loses that 20-ish gold for the melee minion dying, and you're there for the rest of it. That is not what Johnsun got, but it's what Apollo gets. Exactly.
The cannon not only does it take way more from the turret to kill, it's actually 8 turret shots if it's full health, but it also takes a lot longer for your opponent to kill it off and push in their own wave, which is then also more tanky. So kind of works doubly in your favor in that way. But either way, Johnsun did have a CS advantage, so despite the fact that he lost some farm on that, is in a pretty good spot. Stunt heads back to base, excuse me, Aphro is actually going to head back to base here and grabs his Moby, so he's heading up to the top side. So Johnsun will be on the back foot a little bit, going to be having to play somewhat defensive until Aphro rejoins him.
The nice thing is you're not going to be really ever dove by Ezreal, Tahm, Kench. With the BF sword, last hitting on our turret is super easy, so not too worried. If you do want pressure, obviously you want your support, but if you just want to farm equally, yeah, not a problem for the Aphelios right now. Plenty of stats there for him. You can see is the champions once again square off around the map, mids and supports around the mid lane, looking to see if there is a play to be had. Ulti's back up for both mid laners, level 7 for both them as well. Akaadian, level 6, same for Xmithie. Ulti's available, red buff on the one side. He looks to find out where wards might be, just outside of seeing that control ward in that second brush, and now sees it with the axe, and does feel like he can attack it. Hakuho's nearby, but Hakuho can't stop him.
sOAZ really deserves a lot of credit, though. He's up 30 CS. That is a
he's
huge
slapping.
lead at this point in the game. Remember, Huni picked this matchup. This is what he wanted as an Ornn answer, and Ornn was also nerfed. sOAZ is just slamming him, and Huni is straight up missing some of his farm, but Akaadian now here. sOAZ is locked in, but the roam is coming from Hakuho and Xmithie.
All right, well, it's going to come down. He's going to find the single knockup. The rest of the squad is here suddenly as sOAZ jumps backwards, and now Huni has to find a bit of damage. Ezreal's not going to land onto anything at all, and just simply has to walk away. End of the day, it's ult for ult with Immortals, reinforced with their bot lane ultimates there as well. So slight cooldown advantage. Froggen finds some damage, but no CC. Out they go, no kills.
Pretty nice roam, though, from Hakuho and Xmithie, being able to save their top laner. And because of the fact that Xmithie didn't have to use his ult, he could actually just hop in the Tahm Kench. That now means Huni is pretty vulnerable, because when Mordekaiser doesn't have his ultimate, you can actually look for those ganks pretty freely. You can go for those 2v1s, knowing that he can't just ult your jungler and win that 1v1. So there is potential for him to get picked on in these next couple minutes.
All right, see if they can make that happen then, as the summoners are missing on that side. Look for it maybe. Huni right now playing far, far in the defense. Early game has been rough for Dignitas here, but they do have that Drake. That's really got to be pointed out here. That is something that can work well for them. These are teams that tend to play fairly slow games. Immortals tend to be behind in the early game and kind of come back from those overall with their 8-8 record. And a lot of those are good, I would say, sort of macro strong plays. Dignitas can maybe remove that option with some Drake stacking. We'll see as time goes on when minion drop, but Eika gets the shove into mid lane and holds onto a farm lead against Froggen.
One of the things working well for Immortals also is just kind of looking at the trends in their wins. It's almost always through sOAZ playing really well and being able to get advantages. They've created a lot of wins through that, and again, here's a great game for sOAZ. It is going to be a smite fight potentially for this.
Not going to be pulled back in with a shockwave, but still Smite's going to come through, and that is going to look pretty nice as Immortals is able to cleanly walk away. The nice immune on the shockwave from sOAZ, and ultimately objective gain, no losses.
Xmithie grabs the smite, picks up the rift. As you say, the immune there, well-timed Bellows Breath, actually immuning the CC portion of that shockwave, the pullback, so sOAZ was not in any danger. And it is going to be the lane swap coming in here. Apollo pushing out that wave, so a bit of an opportunity for Huni to close some of the gap, as sOAZ's team kind of took that farm from him, and he's going to have to walk down to bot lane and pick up the lesser part of the farm.
A little bit of damage dealt. Right now, Dignitas are first to the play. Top shove shouldn't be much of a problem at all, and that's always nice to see. The Relic Shield charge used to kill the cannon, makes that nice and quick. Froggen gets a plate into the mid lane. It means temporarily Dignitas up in gold plus the Drake, but we know we're expecting to see 3 plates drop from the Herald charge. That should be coming before too terribly long. You've got 2 minutes to go until those plates drop. You definitely want to cast it before that comes through.
Yeah, I think they could actually look towards bot side even if they wanted. I'm not sure if they're going to try to crack topside on the 2v2, but it feels like if you have the losing 2v2, just play to your strong lane right now. sOAZ is dominating. You could just go and drop it there. You could even look towards mid lane if you want to have sOAZ just push in that wave, then roam up and look for potentially a 3 or 4 man play on mid.
It might be the case right now. Looking at where Pantheon is, he's the one who's holding on to the Herald, and there's 90 seconds until the plates drop. That's when the cash goes away. You don't get the free, roughly 480. That's the guess I'm going to make. Usually it's 3 plates, 480 gold if you can make that charge happen. As time ticks down, we'll look for where the play is going to end up going, as right now Dignitas still feeling comfortable enough to go for the Drakes. This was, again, talk about the fact that sOAZ seemed to be winning the matchup one-on-one, but the jungler comes down and top laner comes over, and that is second Drake picked up for Dignitas with no contest.
So they're just going to trade first tower. That is the answer here from Immortals. Okay, giving up that second dragon. They're saying we want the gold now instead. They will be able to get it very low, but not knock it down just yet. Still, that is 4 plates, though. Eika could be in some trouble.
Yeah, and there's some damage going back towards the Olaf, but during the ulti, obviously not a lot going to threaten you. Can't be knocked up into the air. Right now, though, that top lane turret is very, very tanky. It's defense now for Dignitas, but very slowly but surely that turret will lose all of its health. You can see they're just grouping up. The ulti's going to pull turret aggro onto him. They're going to get rooted in place. The turret's dead first, though. So that is, as you mentioned, first turret going over. Immortals up about 2,000 gold off of that whole play. About what you get from a first turret with all the plates picked off. Keep in mind, though, Dignitas, with those 2 Drakes, have that back, of your mind chance to stack those up.
I think Immortals are just going to be looking for that third dragon. Say, that is where we kind of make our stand. This is where we start to utilize the gold lead that we have built. And if you can get a good fight, having that couple of thousand gold lead can make the difference at that third dragon. And then all of a sudden, those early Drakes don't matter as much. The soul is further and further away if you start to lose those team fights. So we'll see if Immortals is able to pull that off. But Huni, thankfully for him, has Leandry's now. First step to perhaps getting something done in this 1v1. If you wanted to continue building for the 1v1, I think Nashor's is a great option against tanks, especially when you are going Tonker. The CDR is really nice for Mordekaiser, but it also helps you to actually stack up the Conqueror, stack up your passive with those 3 hits much more quickly, and can make for some pretty dominating 1v1s.
Yeah, I like the item a lot. I think it's really, really useful. Even if you don't get a ton of time to sit there and auto-attack, yes, sometimes you do in the 1v1, that's great. But even in a basic team fight, it is a very efficient way of getting 20 CDR and 80 ability power. It's, your other option is like Luden's Echo, and it's like, well, you can waste mana on one side and you can waste attack speed on the other, but sometimes attack speed matters on Mordekaiser, right? And there's mana and everything.
Especially against a tank, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Have those long fights where it can be really good. But I agree. I think people often overlook the CDR. They're just thinking about the auto attack component of it and saying, oh, well, you can't always hit people. But CDR is great on Mordekaiser. All of his spells do benefit quite a lot from that. And having the ultimate up is incredibly important. It does give you a lot of power in those team fights. So we'll see if Huni's going to be able to build up to that. But sOAZ is just honestly smacking Huni right now. He is 46 CS ahead. That is absurd in what is supposed to be this winning matchup for Huni. Mordekaiser just continues to disappoint, man. I honestly just hate this pick. It just doesn't feel like it ever really works out much in LCS.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. We'll see if it gets cast a curse and he gets a really pop-off team fight and, Dick catches up off it. But I see your point. I mean, you look at what's expected of these players. Statistically, Huni is a better laner than sOAZ throughout the year. As we saw in Champ Select, he had counterpicked. He opted into the matchup. And yes, this is going the exact opposite of expectation based on what you see of the players and what you see of Champion Select. But again, I still will wait to see team fights. We know Ornn is good. Mordekaiser can be good. We'll see if it comes through. We'll wait for those spikes to come in. But yeah, it's Huni on the back foot, at least equal level for now. Abyssal Mask just came through recently. That's a nice forge for sOAZ, and in about 2 levels can turn that into the upgraded version. And wait to see for that one to come in. Recall's coming through on both sides, though.
Timings are going to be pretty good. Level 2 ultimates for a lot of these solo laners coming up in time for this Ocean Dragon, and I do think Immortals will fight for that. The Ocean Soul is so important, and it would be very, very dangerous to allow Dignitas to get to that spot where they are 1 dragon away from a potential victory, because Ocean Soul very rarely loses, I find. Obviously, there are opportunities to still win the game against a team that does have Ocean Soul, but it is few and far between, generally speaking.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really good, especially if you are against a slightly lower DPS team overall. You get more time for the regen. Dignitas right now going to be first to shove in the mid lane as top Herald has resummoned, respawned. They're going to try yet again. Huni going for some health as well as attack speed. The only items I can think of that actually build into that is something like Trinity Force, which doesn't make sense to me. Otherwise, I can't think of a build path that utilizes both those right away. Either way, though, for now, it's, him pushing down the bot wave first. It's the Ornn roaming up to mid lane still. Akaadian able to take away some of these camps, mid under a bit of pressure. We know the Drake is spawning in just 18 seconds. A couple of deep wards as well. Right now, sOAZ actually spotted by a control ward. Huni has come up now as well, or sorry, recalled and gone to top side. That's what I mean by coming up, and here comes the summon into the mid lane. There's no plates to kill, but that turret would fall to just the charge as long as someone's in range for it. It automatically marks for the jungler. Eika not in range of it, and in fact, the Herald will die before it kills it anyway. Top lane being cleared out by Huni. He's on the other side of the map, willing to burn TP if there is a Drake play. Dignitas, I have to imagine they would like to get third Drake and be on Soul Point. For now, though, just dancing back and forth, playing for minion wave control.
I like the idea from Immortals. I thought they were just going to drop the Rift and then charge straight towards that dragon and do it. But it didn't really work out that well. They do eventually knock down that turret, though, and with Huni up on the top side, Dignitas just saying, all right, we're just going to give it up. We're not even going to risk fighting for it. They kind of know that they are behind right now, and the Essence Reaver hadn't yet been purchased from Johnsun, so Johnsun was still not even on one item, right? He's just on pieces. So that's not really where they wanted to kind of bet their game and honestly bet their whole season on that potential fight. So they will back off. Yep. They will look to fight later on, but Immortals going to be feeling pretty good about potential soul that they are building towards, and also really importantly, just delaying Dignitas from getting to theirs.
And this feels like the payoff from some of the early game plays that Immortals made. They had a lot of pressure on its top side to go for Rift Herald. When they summoned it, they put it in the top lane. They willingly traded, in a game where they more or less had map control, they willingly traded, second Drake for top lane first turret gold, a big surge of cash, and then with that money, basically bullied their way through the mid lane and said, well, at 18 minutes, map control is just ours with the item lead we have. And sure enough, they, push Dignitas off. They stopped the Drake stacking, and they're now 3-0 on turrets in the back half. Like, Dignitas gave up the Drake entirely. They didn't try to do anything, still lost mid, and didn't get top. When all 5 players were bottom river, Huni was slowly auto-attacking and got it down to maybe 80%.
That's kind of what happens sometimes when you are this behind, right? You have no priority, you don't have the lanes in the right spot to actually threaten something when your team's on the other side. So it kind of just speaks to Immortals having a better setup, getting the lanes moving in their direction before actually going for these types of plays. And we are now cresting that 20-minute mark here in a couple seconds without first blood coming down. The latest first blood, this split, was actually 26:08, also in a Dignitas game. That was against Golden Guardians, so only 6 minutes off potentially the latest first blood of the split here. Both teams not really wanting to take a big risk yet.
Are we going to set a new record for the decade in the LCS?
You love that. That is your favorite.
I love saying really stupid things that aren't important at all, and that is pretty much, that is my life in a nutshell. Blue buff taken away pretty cleanly. Gonna go over to Eika, no problem there for him. Dignitas still weathering the storm.
I just need to start turning it against you, right? Every time you do one of those, I'll get you back with oh, your first good joke of the decade. Oh,
yeah, please.
Your first good cast of the decade.
I'm still waiting for that one. We're not there yet.
We're all still waiting for that one.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I need a better co-caster. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a force multiplier. It's unlucky.
Yeah, the absolute value of my co-caster is how good my casts are.
I'm
someone really good or really bad.
Yep. Oh, okay. So, yeah, because then it goes full circle. When it gets bad enough, it becomes good, like those terrible horror movies.
I mean, have you met me? Like, I'm basically bad horror movie to human being.
That's true.
That's roughly
That's your
me.
brand
bad
right
acting
there.
and all.
I don't know. I did see hide and seek with Kobe and Phreak. I would argue that was Oscar-worthy horror. Oscar-worthy. Because that was a horror movie right there, and that was.
Yep.
I think everyone can agree some of the finest acting ever seen.
Thank you. I appreciate that you're lying to my face and to our viewers.
No, I nominated you. I emailed the Oscars.
Really? Yeah. Are you in SAG?
Yeah.
I think that's required, by the way, to nominate.
Yeah,
I don't actually know.
Exactly.
Yep. I think Dash and I have that honor. We can get some screenings now. Shout out Ballers in enough episodes. So we'll see. Immortals, though, back on the Rift, and I mean, they've had control for, what feels like the last roughly 10 minutes. Again, willingly trading away one of the previous Drakes for more gold, and that's just meant that they have control over this one. And again, I want to kind of refocus. This is playoff point. If Immortals wins, they are in. They are at least 6th seed. They cannot be knocked out, and it ends the playoff dreams for Dignitas, Team Liquid, and Golden Guardians. And that's the hope right now that those teams all have in Dignitas and Froggen and the rest of the crew, that they can pull off a win. Because that's what that hope, that outside chance needs. Immortals, though, they can join the rest of the squads at 9 and look for some tiebreakers maybe for playoff seeding later on. Top 4 is what you really want, and that is definitely up for grabs here. Immortals definitely have control of destiny. We'll see if they can make it happen. Still, though, solid 3,000 gold lead. Next Drake spawning soon.
Looks like they're going to go for a play up on Froggen. Both Tahm, Kench, and Pantheon moving up here. Froggen now no cleanse. They could look for the dive, but it is Hakuho just heading back towards mid lane looking to defend. And they want to set up for this next Ocean Dragon. So they have lost mid lane prio off of this roam. We'll see if they can actually get it back. And if we will get the first fight of the game here around Dragon, because both teams are playing with a little bit of that hesitancy.
Okay, in onto Xmithie. Double knockups right there, but he's channeled the E. He's very tanky now on the front side. They might knock down the Olaf. He's got to run away. Akaadian barely stays alive. First blood comes in for Froggen, not to beat his own record from before. Huni forced to flash away from sOAZ, though. Has the ulti still. Dignitas on the board, needs that 600 gold. It closes the gap a little bit, but even though they outnumber their opponents, the health bars aren't quite so big, and Immortals runs right into the river going for this Drake.
And Akaadian has no ultimate, so it'd be really tough for him to actually just move straight in. But he does have flash. They are going to TP. They don't want to give up this dragon.
Oh, Anchor is not quite going to land. Arcane shifted away. The ulti is available, though, from the top laner if it is needed. The smite should not be a problem, and it is grabbed. Dignitas are on soul point. Though they are down in gold, they've lost a lot of map control. They got a single kill. It was on the right champion. They got rid of Pantheon, and that meant they got to walk in for this.
That was a big kill. May not be the quantity, but was the quality kill. They take down Xmithie. No jungler meant no dragon for Immortals. As soon as he was able to TP back after getting bullied out by sOAZ, and the extra man just meant Immortals wasn't willing to take the fight. So one more pick, one more smite could mean Dignitas actually get this game. And Immortals have been playing so cautiously, so slowly with their lead that it may come back to bite them a little bit. One mistake here or there when you're playing only for dragons can be very punishing.
Definitely agree. Immortals have to make some good plays, and maybe soon. Their damage output... Oh! Okay, it was close. Apollo nearly landed that one, but it was a moonshot, and at the end of the day, Johnsun is still the one to pick it up.
So, Immortals will be pushing. The side lane advantage has never just come up. Johnsun in trouble. Nice flash.
Has a flash. Okay, okay. Maybe there's still a bit of a play to be had then, as Johnsun's not going to be able to easily be in this fight. Xmithie going to tank in the front side. A lot of damage. Aphromoo has burned the stone plate, but they're just going to keep trying to push him down. They'll pick that kill up. A big root onto 3, though. Is the re-engage enough? It can't possibly be. It's a 4v5. In fact, the 3v5. Froggen is pushing in the top side. Yes, top outer is dead. Then to be fair, you know, the mid lane turret wasn't killed either, but Immortals might feel comfortable in a 5v4. Maybe they look for something a bit more. Maybe look for Baron control. Right now, it's
or
not
pathing.
that, though. It's just Eika just taking the camp away.
Poor pathing from Aphro there. He was extremely tanky. He lasted a long time with the Aftershock and the Stone Plate, but no one was with him on his team. So when you walk that dangerous path, yes, the turret is hitting people, but Immortals are able to actually control that turret aggro very, very easily and without any damage being returned from champions. It's not much threat to actually just solo dive Aphro and give Immortals their first kill of the game.
Attempted again, 5 HP. Apollo's been really close twice. I think
almost
like the net, oh my gosh, the net total health on those red and blue buff steals is under 100.
It was about 60, I think, on the red, and that was what, 9 and something
5
like that.
maybe
5, okay,
ish.
yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like it was single digits, so definitely under 100 off on the 2 buffs combined, which is frustrating, but just a little bit of calibration to do. Adjust the sights there, you know, fix it up.
Yeah. I will say, I think actually Dig played the blue buff one pretty well, as Hakuho gets a nice little snack right there. Is they kind of left it about like 500-ish, and then Froggen just QW'd at the same time. So it like they kind of held. It's kind of like, you know, playing around your jungler with smite correctly. It's like, look, leave it high, and let the burst kill it. You know, it was that. It wasn't left at 30 health where the Ezreal was. It gets to come in. So I appreciate how they played it.
Well done to them. And I've got to give a little bit of credit to Eika, who has gotten so much criticism. He has actually turned in a couple pretty strong games over the last 2 weeks, performing evenly here against Froggen as some poke back and forth, Aphro taking the worst end of that one. Very passive game, but he's holding his own against Froggen, who generally is considered the type of player to really succeed in these types of slow passive games where you can just farm up.
And to his credit, you know, Froggen has picked up that single kill, so was part of that winning team fight. The team fight was won for them. There's still a deficit to make up, but I mean, I think if you just kind of take a snapshot of the scoreboard right now, you're down 1,800 gold, but you're 1 point from Drake. That feels comfortable enough where I'm not feeling that bad item-wise, and I know I have a win condition in my eyes. One good fight, you can Mordekaiser ult the Pantheon to guarantee there's no smite fight. Like, that feels comfortable.
It's not bad for sure. I guess the worry is maybe about how good the engage is on Immortals. Can Aphelios and Orianna stay safe, but it is going to be a fight.
About to find one right now. A lot of burst damage coming in. Huni not able to ult in time to get away from anything. Gets taken out by the Ezreal. Aphromoo going to drop as well, and suddenly it is uncomfortable for Dignitas. They lost 2 key players before the fight ever started.
There's so many ways to actually deal with the Mordekaiser ult now on Immortals. They have a stopwatch on Xmithie, and they have 3 QSSs. And Huni just still feels like he's losing the 1v1 to sOAZ. He's just not able to get himself in a good position. Froggen maybe looking for an angle of a shockwave here.
Double shockwave is pretty good. Not a ton of damage in the jungle, but they're going to re-engage this one, and there is no way out. John's going to drop. Gilt's not going to do enough. Akaadian can't find the kill either. He's going to try to run for dear life, but he's slowed. Could be knocked up. Not just yet, though. Backline damage from Froggen not going to kill either, and they're going to walk away. Another kill picked up. That's 3 unanswered kills for Immortals, and that Drake is absolutely theirs if they want it.
Johnsun down, Akaadian no flash, Froggen no flash, no way for them to actually get over here and contest this. Another dragon going to Immortals, their second ocean. They are still pretty far away off Soul. Dignitas will have 2 more chances to grab that if they can actually contest in some of these fights. But this one started out with them looking for the pick on sOAZ. But sOAZ is so strong right now. He's essentially in this 1v2 against Afro and Huni and just smacking him down. Both Afro and Huni fall. sOAZ still sitting very healthy, over half HP there. And his carries now are starting to get really, really strong. We have the death cap already upgraded. The ornaments coming across on multiple members. Triforce upgraded there for Apollo. He is on 3 kills. Both these guys are well and truly online.
Yeah, they've got a Black Fever waiting for it when level 16 comes through for sOAZ. That one not nearly as close. You know,
how many health off?
Gumption. All health off.
All of the healths.
All of the healths have been already taken down. Huni, wow, forced to flash away. He doesn't have escape tools, lands the Q. Ults Hakuho and his Q assesses it out. It's like, yeah, honestly, I wouldn't even mind a Hakuho holding it. It's been like, yeah, you're stuck in here with me. Actually, my team can collapse. We'll just kill you afterwards. But pops the active, lets him out of his own death realm. Don't hate it, but I can see it either way.
I can see it either way. It's always tough when you're in the death realm because you don't really know what's going on, right? You don't know if they're all stacked on you. You can see the dots, but it's kind of less clear what the situation is. So he probably wasn't confident that his team was going to have positioning to back him up, especially because I think the edge of the death realm would have been pretty close to Huni's base. Either way, going to be feeling pretty good about their spot in this game. They are 3,500 head. And
yeah,
they're pushing mid and top. Huni heading back towards that bottom side, looking to get something happening there. But it would be an easy force out on the teleport. If Huni shows too far away, there's always potential to try to start up a Baron or something like that.
Immortals, 3 turrets and a Nexus away from a playoff spot here in the LCS. They're getting closer. They can taste it, they can feel it, they know it's certainly doable. They've been playing better throughout time. Rylays came through, then finally the Stinger afterwards. The Dagger's going to see the inventory for a while for Huni, but he's still trying to scale up, but it doesn't seem like he's gotten anything good to do so far this game. 4-1 so far in kills. Xmithie takes some poke. Aphromoo going to go in for the Q, and the E goes the wrong way. This could absolutely be a kill. Yes, they will knock down Xmithie. That is a big kill picked up. They can see the teleport coming in as well. They know where sOAZ is. They don't find that one, but they do find Hakuho. They pull him back in, but no chase down for the kill. Dignitas playing it so defensively. They are 5v4. They should have the way to find something to do. Not just yet. It's going to be wave clear first. Maybe Baron's on the table. There's no jungler. This should be doable.
I think they're going to start it because Xmithie really was caught out there in a pretty poor position. Some hesitance to actually start this up, but Froggen on the side could look for something. Gonna have to see how fast this goes down. Johnsun and Huni will kill it fast.
Has Shockwave, ult tags 3, Akaadian getting low. He's got to be respectful. They're going to find a root, they're going to find a little bit, but Eika gets pulled right back in. Here comes the re-engage. So much damage to the backline. Akaadian, first ult and Apollo. That was right on the mark, and a second kill comes through for Eika. Dignitas cannot win a 5v4 as Immortals hit him with the money bags and knock him right off that Baron.
Apollo and Eika just hitting so much poke, and sOAZ with the 3-man ult there, forcing Dignitas back off the Baron. Now Xmithie is up, out on the map. It's just going to be the counter Baron. They can start this up. Akaadian is dead. I do not think there's any way for Dignitas to really challenge this. They're not even going to try, so it will be 33-minute Baron here for Immortals, putting them much further ahead.
And the timing here is pretty crucial. It's still a minute till the Drake spawns. If that read 8 seconds, you're like, ooh, we can't, I don't know if I want to trade Baron for Ocean Soul. Maybe we have to wait and, you know, dance around the respawns or, you know, stack something up. But with a minute to recall and come back on, there is no reason that Immortals should lose that. And once again, they can delay that Dignitas power spike by 5 more minutes. And once it's 3-3 in Drakes, you have to imagine Immortals gets the 4th.
I think it's a good point. And not only do they have that good timing, they have the combat stats from the Baron, the gold from the Baron. They got to fully reset and buy up to prepare for this. So they are at such a strong point in the game right now. Stoneplate picked up for Xmithie. I don't even know if we've seen Xmithie ult this game. To be honest, I'm kind of thinking about that.
I haven't seen it.
I don't think he has used his ultimate this game, but either way, he's going to be tanky enough just with the empowered E to actually block out a lot of damage and then use Stoneplate after that. So he can be fairly disruptive in that front line. And really, he doesn't have to do a lot.
Froggen doesn't burn the flash, is able to walk away cleanly enough though. Doesn't have to lose too much, and he's going to be fine. Merc Tread's helping with this one. Okay, and that's going to be a nice stack up. Yeah, Immortals, I think with really no chance to lose it. We can see Akaadian is top side. Huni's Mordekaiser is top side. No answer with this one. There is a ward that probably saw him come in, but again, they know that they can't stop this. Dignitas going to let it go to 3 Drakes apiece. Top lane being pushed in very, very slowly, but an easy recall for sOAZ can defend that one. Eika off to the side, able to easily clean up turret number 5. And the time is ticking down. And all the Golden Guardians fans, all the Dignitas fans, all the Team Liquid fans are watching in the wings. Their lives slipping away. If Immortals wins, there are no playoff spots left up for grabs. It'll mean Dignitas will have a bottom 4 finish in their first split back in the LCS. 4x back-to-back champions Team Liquid will have no playoff hopes in the next one. And Immortals, on their triumphant return to the LCS, will be right into the top 6.
Would be a really impressive result for Immortals, especially considering how much they were kind of getting counted out early on in the split. People not really thinking that they would be able to make much of a run of it, looking at the roster, and I do think that they have improved throughout the season. They have been looking very good, and Xmithie, though he's not having the best game right now, has been a really strong contributor. You know, even taking down Team Liquid in both of the games that they played against them, I think was really impressive as a result, and they are in full control of this game. Almost 7,000 gold ahead, 1 off of that Ocean Soul. So for Dignitas, it feels like it's going to be down to 1 last shot at challenging for that soul, but barring that, I think Immortals has this.
Looks really likely. Baron buff on for 15 seconds more. Not a ton was gained. They cracked 2 turrets off of the Baron buff. 2 turrets and a Drake that they definitely had to steal away. We end that Baron power play with a small gold lead, and they are over what they had before. 6,000 up, definitely meaningful, definitely sizable. They're going to feel pretty comfortable, and I am curious how much slower they're going to play this one out. Do you actually sit on equal map state for 3 minutes and just play, you know, for the last Ocean Drake? Curiously, that Drake spawns the same time as Baron, and I don't want to objective trade if I am Immortals. I would rather see them get a lot done next 2.5 minutes and then see if a trade even has to happen.
I think it would be nice if they could get a lot done, but given that they didn't get that much done with the Baron buff, I'm not sure how much of an ability they are going to have to push, but looking for a pick here on Huni. Xmithie can just kite this out. He has the stone plate. His team is stacking up here, ready to take down Huni when he comes out.
When he lands some auto attacks and he just gets deleted. Xmithie is on the board with the first kill of the game. Akaadian forced one way through the base gate there as well. Death Realm came in, missed every single skill shot that attacked. Let the passive come in, but Xmithie was there with the reinforcements, and it's 7-2.
Mortals still in full control, so good pick from them. That could open up an opportunity to maybe try to crack the base, but they have struggled to do it, and they've been playing very passively. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if they just want to play for Baron, play for Soul. because Soul feels like that pretty much guarantees the game. Dignitas have been struggling so much to deal with this Ornn, not really getting too close to killing him in most of the fights. And you give him Ocean Soul, I just don't think they have it in him to take him down. And they have no healing debuffs available right now besides the Ignite from Aphro. So they need something to try to help alleviate that issue of all of the healing coming out from Ocean Soul on sOAZ.
Okay, so time ticks down. Immortals fans, stay tuned. Your squad is about to lock the 6th and final spot in playoffs, and tomorrow will be all about seeding. C9's locked first for a while. Ignore that. Top 4 is what you care about. It is a upper bracket berth in the playoff positioning. 5-6 makes you start in the lower bracket. You want to avoid that if you can help it. Second, lets you dodge playing Cloud9 first round. Pretty useful there as well. So, see, you know, that feels like it's about the same, by the way. Facing C9 first round feels like starting lower bracket anyway, but regardless, things to look for, upgrades to be had. Huni again getting
God,
look
Apollo.
at how far. Has to flash, he's dead anyway. There's no way out. And Immortals find the kill without the neutral objectives yet up on the map, but Huni will be dead by the time Baron spawns. That could maybe be snuck in. Something to watch for as Immortals are shoving in the mid lane, no problem. Both bot and top can easily be grabbed as well. They are well past the river.
Apollo just hit everything on Huni there. Huni flashing out, still going down. I would like to see Immortals just try to send one person down a solo dragon potentially while threatening Baron. They could try to rush Baron and then charge over to that ocean dragon afterwards. And it looks like that is going to be the option potentially here. Just start up the Baron and try to give both. But if you can only get one, I actually think Ocean Soul is better. If they give that up for the Baron, I don't think it's a worthwhile trade.
Yeah, you're certainly down a lot of gold as Dignitas. You're still, I think, more likely to lose than win down this gold, but with an Ocean Soul. But yeah, I agree. Like, Baron buff gets you 1/4 of the gold lead back. Ocean Soul is forever, and it does feel a bit safer. Here comes the TP, and once again a 5-on-5. An Akaadian and Aphromoo on the front lines. Huni running around the side. Look at the health bar just go away. He's just instantly dead if there's an ult to be had. Not quite in range. Ezreal nearly takes him down, but that is not a fight. There's the Pantheon ultimate. There it is. Xmithie finally shows up. And this is the game that will knock
Here comes sOAZ.
Playoffs. It'll knock Dignitas out of playoffs. A knock-up onto one. Froggen's running for dear life, stays alive, and here comes the re-engage. Goodbye to Aphromoo. 5v3, chase on in. Shockwave on 3, does a little bit, and Johnsun is on the board. That is at least some damage over, but it's a 3v4 defense for Dignitas. They still have their jungler, and Akaadian is beelining down towards that Drake.
Won't be the game ender, but it will be Immortals in a huge advantageous position to start up this dragon. It will be them getting the Ocean Soul. And Xmithie was just saving the ulti for later. Takes down Huni with the first ult I've seen in 40 minutes in this game. The Ezreal ulti coming across, getting Huni very low, and then in comes Xmithie, finishing off Huni. And then sOAZ on the very aggressive teleport straight in on top of 4, gets a knock up onto Froggen and allows the rest of the team to pile in here, bursting down Aphromoo. These carries are so strong. It was a great shockwave though and turnaround from Froggen and Johnsun, who was able to AoE with that Infernum right across the top.
And to be fair, that was actually very nearly a game-turning fight. Apollo had to QSS flash to get away from that one. He was gonna be, I mean, he was in Johnson's AoE. Like, if there was one more good shockwave, that is instantly an ace with how much damage Aphelios has. So despite the Ocean regen, yeah, it's a full 4 Ocean Soul, 4 Ocean Drake, Ocean Soul regen. That does not survive Burst. A perfect combo can still win Dig the game, but it's a 2-horse race. It is Froggen and Johnsun, 2 versus 8 at this point.
That's 10-horse race. There you go. 10 horses.
You know, fair. There's only 2 horses that you care about, though.
There's only 2 horses for Team Dignitas.
Only 2 horses. Immortals have
it is going to be the Baron take here. Immortals looking to knock this down, but Xmithie's getting very low sitting on this. He does have that Ocean Soul regen, so can pull off and heal back up. Dignitas, though, do push him back, and I think the biggest trouble is not, you know, can you get... The perfect combo does exist where Dignitas can kill off these carries, but there's no perfect combo that kills off Tahm, Kench, and Ornn, who are, in most cases, going to be in the front line. And in that case, it did get presented that they could actually hit the carries because they were chasing in and looking to try to end the game, but I think the biggest problem with Ocean Soul is getting through tanks, because you can't one-shot them, and they just need to get any sort of damage out to really proc that Ocean Soul buff and start healing up big time.
Yep, and there is no grievous wounds on the Dignitas side, so that is full power regen. The 4 Drakes as well, they work in combat. It is a lot of health. Burning down sOAZ can be hard. Right now, it has been started. Xmithie and Apollo. Ocean Soul is 1/4 effective but not hitting champions, but they are getting that regen. They are regenning a little bit over time, and it's getting burned down. Here comes Dignitas. Apollo is still hitting. Akaadian has flash. Okay, sOAZ takes plenty of damage. He's getting quite tanky. Over the wall they go. Ults hit several. Aphromoo shockwave onto a whole ton of them. They get the jungler and sOAZ. He's regenning. He's pulled back in, and he will go down. A double kill somehow for the support. Aphelios in the back line gets a couple, and it's been answered back, though. It's a 3-on-3 on the map. And that is the kind of fight at the beginning of it that Dignitas wanted.
sOAZ was trying so heavily to actually zone off the team, but they couldn't even finish it. And then he was just sectioned off, getting free hit by everyone from Dignitas. Gets burned down here. Yeah, sOAZ just so far away from the rest of the squad. He has to run through all of Dig to even try to escape. And then Froggen catching him on the edge with the shockwave. Pulls in Xmithie, bursts him down. All the Dignitas members hitting there. Knocked back one member. Well done by Dignitas to actually stay alive in that situation. And I've got to say, for Johnsun, I feel like Executioners is so much better than the Last Whisper in this case because of the Ocean Soul and the 4 Ocean Dragons, not to mention triple lifesteal items on Apollo and all these other sources of healing.
Right, so that to me depends on target. If you're killing sOAZ, Last Whisper is no question, because the actual health per second is like 35 on sOAZ. Like your actual DPS on Aphelios is like 1,000. So, you know, doing 20% more of 1,000 is way more than cutting 35 in half. If you're hitting Apollo, hard agree, right? Apollo's gonna get like 300 health back per Q. You'd love to cut that in half. And so this is, I think, him declaring, I am having to kill frontline first. But yes, if he duels Apollo, Executioner's is way better.
And either way, he does complete it, so he's feeling good about that. And they thankfully finally have Grievous Wounds 44 minutes into this game. It's not just Aphromu's Ignite. But Dignitas are hanging on. Immortals don't have the best Baron take, have not been able to actually just burst down this objective. It is Ezreal and Syndra. These are not the Baron shredding type champions. And Dignitas hanging around here could be looking to play for this Elder. Immortal really have struggled to close games in a lot of cases. So
yeah,
there's still opportunities holding on for Dig, as slim as they are.
And you got to point out, I mean, item leads stop mattering if the items are full. I don't care how much more gold Apollo has than Johnsun. Their full build, it is now irrelevant. They are, I wouldn't even say equal power. I think Johnsun does more with this champion in most cases than Apollo does. Ezreal can pop off, but I think Aphelios is often more likely to. Mid laner's in a pretty close spot as well, but they've both got Death Cap. However, Froggen has a Void Staff. That is generally a more damaging item, right? And can get more accomplished than, say, a Zhonya's, which is more defensive. So the ideal case is still there for Dignitas, where they can maybe burst people down. Gold deficit, only, I say, 7,000? That feels, you know, like, but the thing is, like, it clearly is achievable.
It is. I mean, if Immortals aren't able to actually find these proper fights, as they haven't been able to the last couple. I mean, 2 fights ago, they got a little bit overeager, chased into a shockwave. Last fight, sOAZ was split 1v5 essentially into the other team, trying to zone for Baron, which Immortals wasn't able to take. Then he gets So
there's no blueprint to
happen. But you can see the little graphics popping up, those animations of the spells
in Spectate, it's really easy to see it. I think most of those are cleaned up in first person, but here we go. The knockup is again found. Aphromoo tanking the front line, but not as tanky as the top laner. He's going to be running down, just barely getting away. The ult, that's not going to land. You got to be kidding me, Apollo. You got to land those. It would have been the kill, but at least it means map control. Aphromoo can't be in this fight anymore. He's flashless, he's ultiless, he's health barless. The Elder Dragon is alive for Immortals.
Ooh, Apollo stepping forward, getting that poke onto Akaadian. They want to control mid lane before they move over to those side objectives, but you can see how much that Infernum turret actually splashing onto Immortals. Johnsun and Froggen do have a lot of power still in their kits, but it is so Immortals with Cryo. Very tense. And Afro's back on the map, so it's a 5v5.
Okay, yeah, 5-on-5. Ultis, though, missing on a couple of sides here. No Ornn Horn, a pretty big deal. Hakuho going to mark as they try to go for the Elder Dragon. Dignitas know what's happening, but it's still at 9,000 health. Here comes the walk forward. Stone Plate still down. Aphromoo's pretty squishy. Finds the front line. Aftershock is on. That's going to fall off, and now it is a very squishy Nautilus. He doesn't have good ways of surviving any further fights. Xmithie still tanks up the dragon. Eika, nice poke on the side. Hits 2, and Aphro's only at 1,000 HP. The longer this goes, the better for Immortals. They still have that regen. Getting health and mana back. Even the spells, right? They can spend the mana. They get that back as well. It's not a huge problem. Froggen, right in the wings. Almost finds Eika.
The top lane turret died, so they actually lost that inhibitor tower. It does look like the wave, thankfully for Dignitas, will be pushing out, so they shouldn't just lose straight up an inhibitor, but with sOAZ actually pushing in bot lane, Immortals can just keep delaying this because that bottom lane wave will eventually push and take an inhibitor if both teams are just staying 5v5 around here, and it's sOAZ actually running down. He actually looks like he wants to just go for the inhib.
They're moving the team. They're moving the team to go for the base right now. You can see the whole squad has dropped off the dragon, and they're going to be first to the play. Instant recall come in. Okay, a turret dropped in mid lane for Huni. That's cute and everything, but that's recall. Stop. That is no one going back to base right now, and they're going to be inside the base. That inhibitor is always going to die. That is dead every single time. That's more map control. Dignitas finally getting back, but Apollo's cheating forward. He's going for Nexus turrets right now. He's with the squad going for the game ender. Okay, Aphelios is back in base. He can wave clear, but now sOAZ on the side finds Aphromoo. Able to walk away, but Immortals stay in group together. They trade top inhibitor turret and bottom inhibitor for mid outer, and Hakuho brings Apollo back into the side of the map. And again, Dignitas can't quite rejoin the fight. They're slow to walk over. Another turret falls in mid lane. That's at least some gold in the pocket, which doesn't mean very much anymore at this point in the game, but they've again reassessed. They've grouped back together. 10,000 health on Elder Dragon. Mid still being pushed down right now, and Dignitas now might have a little bit of control. You're seeing Immortals have to take some recalls back. They're trying to hide in Fog of War, trying to figure out exactly what they can do, and now Dragon has started yet again. It's now Dignitas' turn to try, and they know a Shockwave combo outright ends the game in a lot of these cases. 8,000 health on Dragon. Dig are not stopping, and Apollo is going for the push. They're not going for the fight. The smite is only thing that matters. Who's gonna grab it? And it's picked up by the red squad. It's Akaadian grabbing Elder Dragon. There's the fight over the top, and Huni is fighting Xmithie. Elder Dragon burn takes down one, and Dignitas.
There's buying time though.
But yes, Apollo is in the base. He's killing turrets right now. sOAZ is so tanky. One turret is dead. The second one being attacked right now as the Mordekaiser is already dead. And sOAZ getting away just barely, but they have sent the recalls. There's 2 on defense able to stop this. They found that first slow. Apollo is taking axe after axe after axe. The flash to chase down. Do they have the rest that they need? The Elder Dragon is on, but it's not enough for a kill. It is a 1-for-1 trade. They traded a kill for a kill. One of the Nexus turrets is gone, and Elder Dragon is on for 2 minutes.
Immortals feels like they're playing as the team that does not have soul. They are playing as the team that is behind and don't have the confidence to actually take this 5v5. They're opting into base race type scenarios when they have Ocean Soul, when they have a big gold lead, and now Dignitas could utilize the power of the Elder to try to grab Baron for themselves here too.
And crucially, the 2 players who haven't bought Quicksilver Sash are the Syndra and the Pantheon. There is no way to stop Huni from ulting Xmithie for a smite fight. Nothing's going to stop that. As long as he can press R on the right target, it's an uncontested smite. Hakuho being caught out, by the way. Ult's going to come across on a sOAZ. He can immune the knockup. Wow! Look at the damage available. Froggen has the damage to kill up Hakuho. Keep in mind, as you mentioned, yes, the bot lane is under siege. Huni recalls for it, which means the map is still a 4-on-4. Huni clears it away, gains the gold. He's got a stone plate to front lane even more when he needs to in the team fight. No problem for Huni, no problem at all. 4-on-4 though, Elder Dragon still on for a minute. These kills could still be found, and Huni can TP if he needs to. The wave is cleared. Elder Dragon still on for 50 seconds. The Baron being hit, and Huni, if he TPs in, does have the ult. Xmithie's over the wall. Look at the poke back and forth. Health bar's better on Immortal's side, but the teamfight champion seems stronger for Dignitas. More damage towards sOAZ. Shockwave back in. This could be the damage to kill him. Not quite enough. They're going to trade mid laners. Not quite. Eika staying alive. Can't get over the top. Can he find what he's looking for? The shutdown comes in for the Aphelios. He's stunned up, but where's the rest of the damage? Xmithie is left alone. Akaadian kiting him away. And do you believe it? A triple kill comes in for Johnsun, kiting out the squad. Only Apollo left alive in mid lane is in too neutral of a state to do anything with.
I can't believe it. Dignitas keeping the dream alive here, battling back. It looks like Immortals had it all locked up. And now with these res timers, I think there's potential to march it down and deal game-ending damage here. Apollo is actually just trying to split push here. They're going to leave Johnsun and Akaadian to attack the base.
40-second respawn. They see Hakuho. They know where Ezreal was. Do they stop his recall? No, his TP comes in. He's able to get back to the base. They can 2v2 defend this. They see he's back down there. They can probably guess it was the teleport, being that he had no home guard as he came across the map. That is going to be the turret still dropping, though. And Akaadian and Johnsun feel comfortable to win the 2-on-2. They will drop at least inhibitor, but then they will back off. Even with 15 seconds on the respawn, unwilling to go any farther. Bottom inhib, by the way, coming back up pretty soon. This turret will stay alive, and the pressure in the bottom side, the wave that is walking across the map right now on the right side, that is the last super minion left for Immortals. Dignitas have turned the corner. The builds are getting filled out. The gold is equal. They're down this soul, but they seem to be the winning team.
This is a ridiculous game. Yeah, Dignitas are playing with a lot of confidence, and here again, another big fight for Dignitas. They did have the man advantage. He was getting chunked very low, but lands a good ultimate, and then Eika flashes forward, just bursts out Froggen, and you think they're gonna win from here, but look at Johnsun, Infernum ultimate across 3, lights up Eika, knocks him down, and very quickly afterwards, Xmithie is to follow. He just didn't have the support there where Tahm Kench was down, Apollo was already pushed out, and this combo of Froggen and Johnsun are getting so much work done.
I will point out, though, that with the aggressive build of Froggen, right, doesn't have a Zhonya's, doesn't have a way of actually dealing with the flash ult out of Eika. There are no safety tools for him, so that pick is theoretically available. The respawns have come in, and Dignitas are now going to try to answer the turret score. For now, sOAZ is holding the top side. He's pushing back super minions and going towards an open inhibitor. With the Baron buff, of course, no one's going to defend this. Still a minute left on this Baron power play, and then 30 seconds after that drops, Elder Dragon respawns. Dignitas pushing the bottom side again with the fact that Ornn is top lane. They know there isn't defense to be had. Open inhib in the bottom side. Huni walks away to take the red buff, grabs that one, comes back to the squad. Johnson's got to be a little respectful of the fact that he's going to get hit by some skill shots here, knocked up, hit by Ezreal as well, but there's no follow through. No ults come down. Eika never pressed R onto him. That feels like that could have been a target though. Phantom Dancer's shield makes, gives him enough to feel safe. I'm a little surprised though, we didn't see Eika walk up for R there because he was about in range and that guy got a bit low.
I think he's pretty nervous without his flash of getting engaged on maybe by Aphro or something like that, getting hooked up or shockwave and instantly dying, which definitely could happen. But it is tough to know. If you actually land the ultimate there with an open base, if Johnsun dies, you probably win the game. So tough call to make, but Immortals hanging on, trying to defend. Elder spawning again in about 20 seconds. We are 55 minutes in. Immortals have been on Soul for so long, but they are not able to get anything done.
The fights are too explosive, right? They're essentially dying in under the 4 seconds of, the regen with how much damage they actually have. They're just not, they're not able to play quite the slow fights they would want. The protracted standouts where they're poking and going back and forth, that's great for them. But when they're doing, nonstop DPS, turns out that you just can't regen fast enough. Once again, the attempt is on. Elder Dragon burning down quickly. Xmithie has all the tools to get in. He's got Smite, he's got Flash, he's got to try. Huni needs to spot him. He's gonna Flash, he's gotta get the ult, he gets it off. That's an easy Smite. Oh, it was early, but they still pick it up. And now Xmithie can't get out. Huni can isolate this jungler. Xmithie cannot get away from this one without ulting, and that's not gonna happen. That is an easy kill to pick up, but they're already fighting the other side. Johnsun is dominating, picking up one. Xmithie trying to cut away. He can't possibly leave from this one. Doesn't have the Flash pull back in yet again. The TPs come in to get back to the base. sOAZ gonna try to wave clear. It is 5v3 on the map right now. Jungler and support missing for Immortals, but Apollo's pushing in mid with Eika here as well. They're gonna knock down the middle inhibitor. When can Dig get back? They've pulled back 2. They've got the 2 solos.
Eika has ulti.
Carry. And what if they have the damage? We know Froggen has no Zhonya's. Theoretically, the burst could be there. They're gonna try. Froggen gets low. Huni's gone. Akaadian's back on the map. Here comes the 1v2 underneath the turret. So they have the damage stop. sOAZ, he finds the stun and he walks back. So far, he's being slowed. The turret's being attacked. He's gonna keep trying, though, to push back Johnsun, but the wave is still coming down, and sOAZ pushed off. The TP can't come in time. That Nexus will not live. Dignitas keeps the hopes and dreams alive and gets the 7th win.
What a crazy ending. Dignitas actually able to pull it off. That was insane. That game seemed like it was over for 20 minutes. Dignitas keep their playoff hopes alive. Keep Team Liquid's playoff hopes alive. Keep Golden Guardians playoff hopes alive.
Yeah.
And Immortals have got to be kicking themselves. what a tilting game to lose. They were so far ahead, played it so slowly, were never able to deal lethal damage despite having Ocean Soul for 20, 30 minutes almost, for having Baron. You know, they had all the tools and they were never able to close it out. They had to resort to these base trading tactics, these split push style things where you're trying to put your opponent into these rough scenarios. But at the end of the day, they started losing every 5v5. And Johnsun alongside Froggen, they were incredible.
Yep, so no more teams been locked in or out of playoffs. Immortals are only that one game ahead of Dignitas, Golden Guardians, and Team Liquid. All three of those teams are still in it. If they pick up a win and Immortals lose, it depends situations. Some need it through a tiebreaker, some don't. Immortals still